Hello and welcome to the Harbour Housing Podcast. I'm Josh, your host, and today we have something sweet lined up, literally. We're diving into the heart of our Valentine's Day baking competition, where creativity met the kitchen and love was definitely in the air. We had some fantastic entries, from beautifully decorated cakes to inventive bakes, and today we get to hear from our talented winners and the person who had the very difficult job of judging it all. Joining me is our judge, Jenny, who you may know from her incredible work in the community, Rachel from Harbour Housing, and of course our top three winners, Stuart, Harper and Laura, although Stuart isn't here at the moment. Welcome to everyone.
Woo! Welcome, Josh.
God,
Nice
it's
intro.
to get out. Let's start with the stars of the kitchen, Harper and Laura. Tell us about your creations. What did you bake, and was there a story or inspiration behind it?
I went for the cupcakes because I've always made cupcakes. Any sort of bake sale or bake off that goes on, I'm just like the cupcake provider. So I went for that and just decorated it themed Valentine's Day.
As someone who has tried one of your cupcakes, I must say they were absolutely beautiful. I particularly liked the icing on the top, which was really nice.
Thank you.
Laura, how about yourself?
Well, with the assistance of Leah as well, we made a jam tart and we made it in the shape of a love heart with Harbour Housing on it, just to be special.
Yeah.
But I was more the decor. I was the decor lady. You know, I brought in the rainbows and the unicorns.
Yes, that was it.
Yeah, and it was nice to do something for Valentine's, because a lot of people get a bit low around seasons and times, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Especially in our sorts of projects, and so it was just something high and fun, and it was brilliant. Really enjoyed it.
Cool. Baking under pressure can be quite difficult. Were there any moments that went wrong, or did it all go smoothly for the both of you?
It actually went really smoothly, didn't it? I think especially with Harper's decorating,
Whacking
she
them all
spent
out,
the time.
boom, 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 done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was in the kitchen, and I think apart from getting oil all over myself,
Yeah.
you did absolutely
That was
fine.
you and your brownies as well.
I know, I
making
was,
up.
I wasn't best pleased about making a mess, but you know, it's all part of the fun, isn't it?
Oh, the brownies, they were amazing. I had
Yeah.
a tub of them in my bedroom, which I finished off.
If you guys had to bake again, would you do anything differently? Would you kind of go for the same things, or?
I would plan to be a bit more available, I think. Yeah, a bit more warning and a bit more.
I think I would. It depends on the theme, honestly. So if it was something, you know, last time I had a bake sale, I did peanut butter and vegan peanut butter cupcakes. So they were really nice, and they popped off at the sale, you know.
What was the theme for that then?
That was a cancer research one. Donations.
Cool, nice. Jenny, you had the tough job of tasting and judging. What were you looking for in the winning bake?
Wow, well, you know, I have to start by saying it was just such an honour to be invited, because I think I mentioned a couple of times on the day that actually the top secret in our household is that I am a bit rubbish in the kitchen, and Julian is absolutely in charge. I'm occasionally let in to chop a vegetable, but invariably I get that wrong as well. So to have the opportunity to come and to taste cake was just marvellous. So what was I looking for? What were we looking for? Well, presentation and taste. And individuality, and that was evident with all of the bakes. Obviously, coming back to the cupcakes, I mean, those were just a work of art. They were utterly beautiful. However, in a different way, so was the fantastic jam tart. You know, that was such a visionary idea to create something in the shape of a heart with HH on it. You know, it was just wonderful. The brownies were deep and rich and sugary. Look at me sounding like I know what I'm talking about. Everything was presented beautifully, and everything tasted great. So it was a really, really difficult decision-making process, and I was just really glad that Rachel was there as well, so that there were three of us sort of battling through the decision-making process whilst having a massive sugar hit, which of course doesn't help with the concentration.
I was buzzing.
It flew out of here.
Were there any surprises, any flavours or techniques that really stood out to you?
Oh, interesting question. I think it was the variety that was wonderful. You know, we'd got the fruit, the chocolate, the creaminess. I suppose all those things that you sort of connect with cake. And it was the diversity of what was there that was lovely, and also individual and so sweet.
Indulgent there.
It was very much so.
Yeah. Beyond the baking, this competition brought people together. How did you all find the experience as a whole?
Awesome.
I thought it was really fun and really nice, and it was nice that we had residents from Newquay, residents from St Austell and staff around. I thought it was a really enjoyable day, really. Yeah.
It's a lovely atmosphere.
Really inclusive, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The rainbows and the unicorns.
Yes.
What was the most fun or memorable moment of the day? Any unexpected friendships or rivalries formed over the mixing bowl?
I think it went really well, and I just really enjoyed the atmosphere. The staff here had decorated the room lovely with love hearts and put up posters about Valentines, which reminds you that you don't have to have a Valentine's. And the atmosphere was just really comfortable. We had food, we had like a little party. It was nice to actually get to meet people higher up in Harbour and to meet with yourself, and just get connections, new connections. And yeah, really, it was really good day.
Yeah, I think it was nice to bring people together from the different projects. I really enjoyed meeting some of the other residents.
Definitely.
Harbour Housing and all of the quirks that come with all
The
of
quirkies.
Yeah. There's something nostalgic about baking and something quite comforting. Do you have any early memories of baking that you particularly were reminded of?
Not a big thing in my house, so I'm probably not the baker to talk to about that.
I baked quite a lot as a kid. I think, I don't know. There was never enough cake to go around, so if I kept baking, then there was enough cake for me. So yeah, I used to probably eat like Victoria Sponge all the time. I was always baking.
I think it's an underestimated skill, isn't it? Because all you need is most of the ingredients you're always going to have. It's like sugar, flour, all of that, so you can always bang something up at home. So I'd like to get more into baking. So because it's just so cheap to do, and it's so easy once you know how.
Yeah, as long as you have an oven. Okay.
Yeah, the right equipment.
Not tried the air fryer yet. I might have to give
that a
bake function.
We've done the egg in the microwave.
The egg in the microwave did not go very well though.
My mum was the worst cook when I was a kid. Literally the worst cook. But every year she would try and bake a cake for a birthday, and one year it actually gave me food poisoning, which we laughed about for many years. But yeah, she made us all really, really poorly with her Little Mermaid style birthday cake. But it's the effort, isn't it? It's the effort of someone actually getting the ingredients and spending that time to bake something. I feel that that's a really good way of kind of showing love, isn't it? Look, I've spent this time baking this, whether or not it makes you vomit.
Yeah.
Eat
now, pay later.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. But there we go.
But you're right, it's all the memories. So I remember as a child making chocolate crispy cakes. When it's almost like a rite of passage, isn't it? You have to make chocolate crispy cakes at some point. Golden syrup, cocoa, and a lot of mess, and a very dodgy pan afterwards. And my nana, that's a really good question, thank you. I hadn't thought about this for years. So my nana lived in Baglan in South Wales. And I used to go to stay with her on my own because I've got twin brothers who were younger than me, and I think it was a way of sort of getting me out. So there was less pressure in the house. Anyway, I'd go and stay with her, and she would take me up into the hills to go and pick, I think she called them bilberries. I'm not entirely sure. They looked like blackberries, and then we'd make blackberry and apple pie. And she'd make it where you just put a lid, a crust on the top, and then halfway through the cooking she'd lift the crust to stir the insides and put it back on again. Nice. Yeah. There you go, that was a random memory I have actually.
Me, I have got some memories about making them.
Blackberry, picking the blackberries.
Yeah, picking blackberries.
Crumble is the best.
Crumble.
Yeah.
So just kind of like the top.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
I think we all agree on that.
Jenny, beyond judging delicious cakes, you and your husband are deeply involved in supporting the local community. Can you share a little about the initiative you're working on in St Austell and the surrounding areas?
Wow, okay, thank you. Yes, so we decided at the beginning of this mayoral year that we wanted it to be a year where Julian made a difference, and we got some traction in terms of promoting and supporting what an amazing community St Austell is. We know that there's some people who give it some bad press, and actually the community and the inclusion and the spirit of goodwill within the town is amazing. There's amazing skill, amazing talent, as was demonstrated with the Bake Off, and we really wanted to champion that and make sure that that was moved forward. So whoever comes in as mayor after Julian will take forward the initiatives. I think one of the key successes so far has been that as a result of the big community day that we ran on the 15th of August, where you guys were very present, the ducklings were very present, and that was all about celebrating all of the services that are available and the brilliant work that's being done. As a result of that day, the town council embraced the idea that if they could have somebody who could lead the setting up and running of those events, that would build on the idea of promoting and celebrating the wonderful things that are going on. And at that point the council were making a decision about funding, and anyway, as a result of that, they made an appointment of a full-time person on council. So they've joined the little council team, and it's not a big group of people. They do an amazing amount of work. Anyway, they've got a new lady called Jess, and she's going to be part-time in the library, helping in the library, and part-time leading the promotion of events. And if you look at, she's a young, enthusiastic, well, young just because obviously I'm a dinosaur, she's got massive amount of experience in festivals and running events. And you look, Julian brought home the schedule that she's got planned for this year, and there are going to be there's an Easter egg hunt coming up now, and there's going to be welly boot, flower bed building, and summer events, and it's all about opportunities for the community to come together. Not expensive, it's all going to be free or nearly free. The emphasis is on free, so we can bring families in and allow everybody to be part of celebrating and enjoying and creating and laughing and having fun. I think that's our biggest achievement today, because that's a legacy that's now in place.
Yeah.
Hurrah.
Yeah, definitely. You've been a champion for local arts, theatre and charities. How do you see events like this baking competition playing a role in bringing people together? Although I know it wasn't particularly in the community, it was more Harbour housing focused, but... Wow.
Okay, that's another really good question. I would hope that we can do more events like this, and that, so I met with three, it's going slightly sideways, but it's relevant, I hope, 3 members of the Residents' Forum last week with Claire, and we were talking about planning an event for the autumn, which is similar to the one that ran in the summer, but with an enhanced focus on the services that are being offered within the area. And key to that is about user voice. So meeting with the Residents' Forum was about saying, how do you think this event should be shaped? And it's key that as that moves forward, that service users' voice is involved. I'm rambling a bit here, but I think the point is that events like the Great British Bake Off, could they be with approval and agreement from people who are going to be doing the cooking and going to be public? Could it be more public, really? Could there be other people involved? Could there be people from Harbour and maybe people from CM4C and other agencies competing? so that it's more it's more out there really, because I mean, hurrah, let's have lots of people baking and
more cake.
More cake.
As like a representative for Harbour Housing, and someone who's worked within the volunteer and activity coordinator role here, that is definitely something that we can look to do, because in the past we've done loads of community events like community litter picks, and we've painted bus shelters, we've, one of the things that we'd really like to start doing, which we've spoken to you about and we've got the motions in place, is helping vulnerable people with their gardening. So that's something that we're going to be looking to do really soon, which we've been working quite closely with Jenny and getting started up. So it's really important that we kind of embed ourselves in the community, both from a staff perspective and from a resident's perspective. So
the reciprocity project is how I keep labelling it, but it's that giving back, isn't it? And sharing, because there's a possibility that there might be there's some projects sort of in the pipeline now, aren't there, to move that forward. It's really exciting.
Really exciting.
Sorry.
I agree. I think it's really valuable, especially for the residents, to have an opportunity to get involved in things in the community, because ultimately, once we do move on from Harbour Housing, we are going to be a part of the community and, hopefully be engaged citizens. So I think it's lovely that, we're already being given the opportunity to kind of get out and involved in things like the gardening and the bus shelters.
I think it really helps break down the stigma as well, because within the homeless community there's a lot of stigma, not from everyone, but lots of people in the community may have different opinions and ideas on what homeless people
that's exactly
represent.
That's exactly what I'm thinking, is like bridging that gap. It's like interaction is based on there being enough staff to cover the current residents that are present, and sometimes those, because the homeless industry is so up and down, and the environment that people are housed in, you've got drugs, alcohol, you've got mental health, you've got varying issues. It's just good to bridge the gap, isn't it, and break the stigma.
Breaking the stigma, building positive relationships,
and it
moving
affects
forward.
the clients as well, because when the clients feel like the staff are interested, or people like yourselves that are higher up in Harbour Housing and things like that are so keen to do these things, it's like making sure we can get the people from the project to come along to those things that can commit, will commit, maybe a little bit more reliable, because they haven't got, life altering issues, that they deal with daily.
But seeing someone who, potentially has been on the streets for a number of years or entrenched in drugs and alcohol, seeing them go out and do something positive for someone else really has quite a significant impact on their mental health and their self-worth, and you can sometimes really see like such a positive difference in someone when they feel a little bit valued from doing something. I know if I've done something and someone says to me, "Oh, Rach, well done, that was great," and I thought quite badly about something I've done or myself, then I'd feel, I can do that. So it's about empowering people as well to be able to actually do those things, and have members of staff here, helping to empower people. It's really rewarding for us as well. Just breaking down that stigma, and if everyone could just have a chat with someone, they might not have that horrible view of what they've perceived that person's like before actually having a conversation.
And there's different perspectives that are so valuable. I mean, the three residents that I met with last week with Claire, the suggestions that they brought forward in terms of how they think the autumn event should run came from a particular understanding and knowledge and experience. We couldn't have got that insight, and that they're really, really valuable contributions. And it's really powerful. It's really important.
It's giving them a voice.
Yeah, it's not patronising. It's like, you guys have got information and knowledge and skills that are really important. Yeah. So
I look at it really you know, you can either take something and make it a big thing, or you can take something and decide it's another certain way.
Yeah.
I always try and take things, if I'm offered anything, I try and take it with positivity, so that helps me.
And you
Bring up
guys-
others as I can.
You guys are at the centre of it. You know, this is to benefit you guys, and who am I to say, oh, that's the right way or that's the wrong way of something being done, when the residents are on the receiving end of it. So it should come from them, from you, you know, it shouldn't be dictated by us, I guess.
No.
Absolutely.
Sorry for interrupting.
I guess as we've discussed, like, it can be really challenging for people to get involved in these things because of the stigma. So I guess what advice would you give to anyone listening that might want to be more involved but feels that there's kind of roadblocks in the way to them being involved in community projects?
Put your fear aside, reach out, talk to the Harbour, the most accessible team of people, both in terms of service users and service provider. Just reach out, say hello, go and meet somebody, go and talk, and confront your fear, whatever that
Always
might be.
bake cakes.
Cake, yes.
Cake and coffee.
Yeah, I think it's a good way to break the ice. No, I agree. I guess to Laura and Harper, now that you've had a taste of victory, literally, do you see any more baking in the future for you guys?
Always.
Never say
Yes.
never.
I like
Never
that,
say
Harper.
never.
Any opportunity I'm given to make a cake again, I will take it.
Yeah, well, hopefully we can
We've
get
got
involved
that in
with
writing now.
and hopefully we can get involved in some of these events, and then we can, I don't know,
Yeah.
start selling cakes.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
You are quite good.
Well-
Because when they do get burned, I mean, that's the odd occasion. I think we've broken that though now.
I think I'm going to have to stick to cupcakes, aren't I, now from now on?
Yeah, we'll avoid the cookies.
Well, actually, you know, one of the things, you don't know, I'm about to say, one of the things that came out of the meeting last week was the suggestion that with the autumn event, that actually Harbour provided some of the refreshments, which obviously could include cake. And the fabulous lady who did the majority of the cooking for the Christmas meal, I had a chat with her at Cosgarn Hall while we were waiting to do the residents forum, and she was saying about the brilliant cafe she's running there. And so yeah, there was a feeling from the forum that maybe the refreshments could be provided by you guys.
We're all about the food. Literally, all about the food. I don't go anywhere usually unless there is an offer of some form of food. But if there's cake on the table, I'm running.
If we do this again next year, are you both coming back to defend your titles?
Yeah, of course.
Of course, with the totes, yeah.
I'm coming for your spot, Josh.
Jenny, after judging this competition, and I know you said that you don't always get into the kitchen because your husband kind of kicked you out of there. Do you think you'd ever want to take part in a competition like this yourself?
Oh my goodness, that would be like face your greatest fear. Yes, of course, I would step up and I would do it. I'm not quite sure what it would be like. I'm hopefully not as devastating as the birthday cake.
No.
I'll write you out some instructions.
Thank you. Can I be your commie chef? Yeah, I'd love to. Absolutely.
I mean, this was kind of like goes into my closing thoughts. I don't know, is there anything right now that anyone kind of feels that they'd like to explore a bit more or talk about?
I just like it's great coming out of the project, getting out. Even if it's interacting with other clients and you just go for a walk, just
Yeah.
you know, it's really good for the staff as much as it is for the clients to have other things they can sort of focus on. But I know that the arena itself is you know, it's high risk, so a lot of people have got to be kept an eye on, so it doesn't always allow, because of the way the service is, to allow staff to be able to follow through with things, because an emergency could come up, or you know, so
As a member of staff, I get a lot out of taking people out
yeah,
and about.
absolutely.
I, you know, even if it's just going for a walk or going to the beach, especially in the summer, you know, getting out and about, and people are usually a lot more relaxed when you're out.
I think the whole system as a whole is like, it's so much paperwork and so much forms and so much stuff you've got to do, safeguarding and all the rest of it. But that's the reason why a lot of people came into this job, is to interact with the clients and to make changes, you know, and it's just, it always seems to take from that client to, you know, staff element away, all the paperwork and the heaviness of stuff. See, you know, it's just, and I know you feel it. I've worked in mental health projects before, so I am familiar with it. And you know, like the staff need it as much as the clients do.
Absolutely.
You know, but the clients do need it. You know, because you're living in quite a intense environment.
And that's what we felt that day coming back, wasn't it?
100%.
When you were coming back from the bake-off, it was so positive. And having that time out and meeting Jenny herself as well. And you guys meeting more of the Harbour staff as well.
And it can take more than one person from one place to a completely different place.
So maybe moving forward some more activities in Newquay.
Yes.
More activities, you know, notifications. I mean, you know, anything that's this woman's doing, things like that. It's more communication that the clients know about these things. Because staff can't always be responsible for translating it.
I can sort that out, no problem at all.
Because it's more the lack of knowing in advance and knowing that it's not that always to do with people not attending. It's just
and in Newquay, you know, it's separate from our other places.
Yeah, totally. So, I was impressed with Coscone's kitchen situation and their cafe. Just go down and make yourself a brew job. I was like, we can bring that.
Can I just
bring that in up there?
That we had a 5-star hygiene rating down there
for
a number of years.
I've lived in St Auster for years, and I had my own issues. Not with, but you know, the fear mongering of the place, and then you walk in behind the walls and the intimidation is taken away. Yeah. So I don't know, but maybe opening our projects to public as well, so that, you know, with the clients that are in better situations, they can sort of interact. And
I think like
there's such a huge chasm between the projects and the people that live around the projects and the environment, you know.
I think we've all got a preconceived idea of something, haven't we?
100%.
So me, before I started working here 12 years ago, and back then Coscone was a lot different. And before I started working there, I had a preconceived idea, and I thought, oh no, like I'm going to go to work and I'm going to get beaten up. Like, I'm going to get shouted at every day, I'm going to get beaten up. This is, you know, what am I doing? And the minute I walked in those doors, I remember the hallway was bright yellow back then, and I sat there and I just felt this real sense of like calm. And I thought, oh,
was there cake?
There was no cake, no cake.
Do you know, if you're going back 12 years, that's very strange, because that's exactly what I felt.
Yeah, just
when I went in, I'd been in there before in the beginning when I had an assessment, but then I went in there again, and it's like, there's a little bit, you know, of familiarity with the staff, and it's just felt. I was like, well, where's all the? It's all out there, isn't it? It's all not in here. It's lovely and chill.
No, I was absolutely wrong about my Don't get me wrong. I've been called a number of names on occasions.
I've been happy to say that on several occasions about things like that.
It's. I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
I think it just takes that dark intimidation away of like, it's us and it's them.
Yeah, it's
you know. I mean, the way the world is at the minute, everybody's so close to a possibility of becoming homeless or in a situation. Everybody is financially struggling and on a tight, you know, a tight ship.
Only one payday away.
Yes.
Like,
well, that's what I mean.
Really, like I could be in your situation tomorrow. Like it's
and life works in funny ways. It teaches you lessons. You know, if you judge too high, you might end up in that sort of scenario yourself. And it's quite confronting when you meet people and they've got addiction or they've got mental health and they're just good-hearted, lovely people. Not everybody is, but not everybody is. Life's like that.
But that's life, isn't it?
But you just can never judge. You just never know.
No.
Really
I've met some of the nicest people working at Harbour Housing, residents. You know,
I've got nothing, and they will give you.
You know, and I feel very lucky because in my life I've always had a backup. So I've always had, you know, a friend or someone there who's been able to drag me out the rubbish situation. And sometimes I think about how if all of that had suddenly disappeared and I didn't have that support network and I lost my job, I could very well end up at Cosgarn, and then if I didn't end up at Cosgarn and I ended up on the streets, you know, and I was freezing cold, I probably would pick up a bottle of cider, you know, or I might...
A lot of people drink on the streets to stay warm.
Yeah, might be tempted.
I know it sounds crazy, but do you feel the cold when they're drunk?
Exactly.
Nobody.
So, you know, I can't judge people because me in that situation...
I've had conversations with people that drink on the streets and that's what they say, you know, it's less painful.
Yeah. But also on the other end of that, if I had been through significant childhood abuse or not had a great upbringing and all I ever knew was that, then that is something that I might go back to, or
it's just familiar.
Might just
what you know.
Yeah. So you know, everyone's got
it's
their
like,
own story.
We're all here on a bit of a wing and a prayer, really.
We are, aren't we? Yeah. Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
That is life, isn't it?
Yeah.
And things turn so quickly.
Yeah.
And yeah.
The cakey prayer.
Yeah.
The
cakey prayer,
Cakey prayer. But as like a member of staff, I feel really privileged to be able to help people, especially
because that's the reason you came into
you know,
the job. You didn't want to be stuck behind a computer.
Well, we're never going to be millionaires working here.
No.
So you know, it's the fact that you can help people and to see people change. It's just, you know, I've supported 2 people here who are members of staff now, and when they came into the accommodation, they were at the you know, at the worst place possible in their lives, and to see them like just turn around, and for me as in my job to be able to offer them a job, you know, that makes me feel so great. And I think
recovery. That's their recovery.
That's why I get up in the morning, you know, because that is a purpose for me. I feel fulfilled because, you know, and even if someone doesn't, you know, turn their whole life around, but has a shower and they haven't washed for a few weeks, like 100%. We are partying, you know, we're celebrating that. You know, so
it's the little things we take for granted, but those are the things
we take a lot for granted. But it brings you back down when you...
But you can feel that energy off you, and you can feel that you want to be in this job and you're keen to make a change. And, you know, it's a hard environment. It's not an easy environment for you guys to work in. I get that.
No, it's not an easy environment for us to work in at all. But I think if you look at the bigger picture of it, the people that really want to help and are quite, you know, into what they're doing, it's very rewarding. Don't get me wrong. And
it reflects back on you as well.
Yeah.
You know, your relationship with them, they'll reflect that back to you. You know.
Yeah. It's there are sad days, you know, there's really sad days for everyone, residents, staff, you know, there's really horrible days where you think, oh my goodness, like, what is that? What's just happened? But it, you know, hopefully, bit by bit, we can, you know, help people and, you know, transform lives in a way, or help people transform lives, because at the end of the day, it's you guys that are in control of changing their lives. We're just tools. Like, as awful
but
as
just
that
your
sounds.
little bit of belief in somebody.
Just
when they don't believe
give
in themselves.
Give them a little push, you know. Come on, what are you doing? Get out of bed. Let's go sort this out. But also we go back to the benefit system. Not to go too far, but the benefit system. Everything requires you to be able to read and write. So you know you have to be able to read to do an application for a benefit claim. You have to be able to write or type, or you have to be IT literate. You know, not everyone can read and write.
And even when you can read and write,
some of it's
when you
confusing.
read and write that, it is distressing. I've just done one of them, and it is
reading. I can
3 hours.
I can listen to someone and absorb tons of information, but when it comes to reading, it's like I read about a sentence and it's a cut off. My brain just switches off.
So it's, you know, we take that for granted as well, don't we? That not everyone has those skills, and by our service being there, hopefully we can help people with that.
I think, you can get on a very negative loop when you live in the environment, and that's why things like this and getting out of the house and talking to the staff about the things that are going on is like when they're supportive about it, you know. and and you're being safeguarded as well when you're in that environment.
Don't get me wrong, I don't imagine it being this fluffy, positive, happy place to live, because it's not always like that, is it? Let's be real. Sometimes there's rubbish that goes on that is horrible, and you think, oh my goodness. But if you make use of all that's offered, so all the support that's offered and all the guidance, just what I say to people is use us. Like, we are there to be used to help you to, try and achieve what you need to achieve to make sure that you don't come back.
That's it.
And then that can be a part of your past life that you look back on one day and you think, wow, I did that. It's always going to be the way, if you put me in a house with a load of women to live, hell's going to break loose. Like, I've got a lot of respect for people that can live in houses of multiple occupancy, because I would probably, I'd probably cause the antisocial behaviour. I probably shouldn't say that, but I would. So, it's...
and it just shows what you guys do for yourselves as well. Like I say, we don't force you to come here. You come out by yourself, and it's putting that idea in front of you, and then you, like you say, it's you guys doing everything.
And somebody
you guys
rallying
yourself
the troops.
Up in the morning,
You're rallying the troops
knock
this
every now
morning.
and then.
She is, she rallied the troops this morning, she did.
But it's you guys as well, and this is the start of mainly things can be put in place, but it's you guys taking the part at the end of the day. We couldn't do it without your engagement. So.
But it's like transport
So
and varying other things. It does make it much more accessible when the staff can come with you, and that's...
We do like engagement, don't we?
Yes.
We
are always star students in the engagement.
We talk
like you say, these things wouldn't run though without you guys, isn't it? Like, we'd all get bored of seeing each other all the time, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
But
I thoroughly enjoy it.
And to have Jenny come and get involved as well. And then so when we were going back over to Nuki, how they were praising, speaking to you and having that time, wasn't it?
Pleasure.
Just seeing somebody else outside the project, they get sick of me, don't they?
And it's lovely to see you again.
I've known you a long time now, I'm not sick of you.
It's lovely to have the Mayor and Jenny who are just wanting to get involved with us. It's been a while, and it's just so refreshing to have that. Like, people actually interested and recognising what we do. I know we do great things, but it's fantastic that you guys recognise that and just want to be a part of what we do. It just I think it's amazing.
It's an honour. It's an honour and a privilege. Thank you for having us.
So there we go. It got a bit deep there, didn't it?
Deep.
We were no cake.
I mean, I guess while we're still focused on kind of Harbour housing and the leaps and bounds you help us kind of make as residents, do you think there's, us guys as well, do you think there's anything that could be done to help break down the stigma that we spoke about earlier that would kind of make people less fearful of the projects or our involvement in
I was just
things?
Ironically going to say that when we came here, we met you guys, so we're like, there's life outside of the escape. And you're fresh people, so we meet you, and then we've met yourself, and you've just talked to us like you were kneeling down on the floor talking to us and asking us questions and interested, and it's just those sorts of things that like make us feel like we've got something worth saying and something worth
but
giving.
you're no different to us, that's the key. You're no different to us,
but it speaks volumes to the clients that you've come, and your husband, the Mayor, and just being real.
I think it works both ways, doesn't it? Because as much as the community might be fearful to engage with us, you almost feel like they don't want to engage. So it's nice to have people kind of approach and want to get involved, or at least hear that they do want to get involved and support us.
And hear our stories, just like, because that's the thing that changes people, isn't it? It's the relationships they build with the staff, the things they get involved with.
Building bridges.
Yeah,
definitely. I think that's kind of the most rewarding thing for me, is seeing people outside the project.
We're working against the tide a bit, because as a whole, like I say, as a whole, it's got quite a long, hard stigma, isn't it?
What I always say to people is, especially those in the community, not necessarily within our service at all, but if you're not sure about something, or you've got a negative view on what we do, come and have a look around. I am more than happy to show you around and show you what I do. We do. At the end,
for that
yeah,
trick.
there we go. At the end of it, I can't guarantee it, but I am nearly sure that your mind would change. About our whole service, our properties.
I don't have a negative viewpoint at all.
No.
I'm grateful for the fact that I've been given a room somewhere safe and secure.
I think it goes back to, like you said, when we turned up to Cosgarn and it was raining, so we didn't get to see the ducks, but can we go in and get a cup of tea? And then we came down and Helen was there offering cake straight away, and they were like, oh, can we have something to drink? And then there was somebody from another house there as well, wasn't it? And just to sit in that little cafe bit to get me.
Because it can be like a family
isn't it?
environment.
And it was just so normal.
It can be like a family environment because you're living together.
We're a community.
And
to go just like a day out to do that sometimes, isn't it? Just shows like
just go and see the ducks even though it's raining.
We did try, didn't we?
They are so cool. And animals. I mean, even, we were saying, like, I know it's hard to fund these things, but people would probably put towards themselves, trips. But animals, anything to do with animals.
Yes, I'm right there with you.
Such a good sector for what the sort of clients that you've got. Mental health, and different
And that's
things.
how the farm was created. So the farm down there on the farm was actually designed by a resident.
I was going down there the other day and I was like, I was like, this is so cool.
Yeah, it was designed by a resident. So basically, when we purchased Little Cosgarn, which is the house next to Cosgarn, a resident said, that land would be really good as a farm, as a small holding. And Malcolm, our operations director, said, well, if you come to me with a business plan, then I'll consider it. And the resident put together a full business plan, and Bob's your uncle, we have a farm. It's so that's how that came around.
Baby duckies.
You guys are big fans.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. This has been a really great chat. Thank you all for sharing your experiences. I guess we should probably say that that's it for the Harbour Housing Podcast today. Thanks for listening, and if you're inspired to get baking, let us know what you make for next year's competition, and see you next time.
Woo! Yeah.